Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
What's up, Delora? We are back with another In Conversation.
Yes, we are, and I'm so excited.
Absolutely. So we teased this a little bit at the end of our last episode, but today we are bringing on Angelina, aka Ange Mitchell, to talk about the first ever Dayton Black Women's Film Festival. She is the founder. She is literally joining us on the heels of the event. So Ange, how you feeling? How you living? How was the event?
I am feeling fantastic. I am so excited to be here speaking with you guys.
We're excited to have you.
It's
so happy.
Crazy that the event is over. After spending a year of doing something, you're kind of like, what do I do now? But I also feel blissful. I feel happy. I feel appreciated by my community for all the hard work that I put in. So I'm in bliss.
We celebrate your hard work now. We celebrate because this is a huge win.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. I agree. And the audience that I saw last night is the exact reason that I put the film festival together. A room full of Black women, celebrating Black women, empowering other Black women, clapping for other Black women, crying with other Black women. Is just everything that I have dreamed of doing. The reason that I'm passionate about filmmaking, the reason that I am passionate about making stories that center Black women.
We love to hear it. Again, I was late to hearing about the festival, but I'm so glad that I got involved in terms of hearing about it, reaching out and getting a chance to kind of expand on your journey, what got you to founding the film festival, and then kind of some other things that we'll share with our audience along the way. So let's jump right in. As I mentioned, if you could please walk us and our listeners through just the highlights of your journey so far. I know you're a Dayton native, you're a film student at Wright State University, go Raiders.
Yeah.
And now the founder of the Dayton Black Women's Film Festival. So talk a little bit about that trail along the way.
So as a Dayton native, I've always been involved in the art scene. But in Dayton, there are a lot of Black women who have come from Dayton who are in the film industry. One who just passed, who I think is phenomenal, Barbara O, who's in Daughters of the Dust. Was an actress. And I feel like people forget that she's from Dayton and that she did so much work in the industry, but nobody gave her flowers. But we focus on like Steven Spielberg came out of Cincinnati. So we focus on all the filmmakers that are not of color that have came from Dayton. And I just felt like there's no platform where these women really get to have their flowers or get supported by their community. And going into film myself, I just didn't want to be in a space in Dayton where that wasn't a possibility. So I started at Wright State 2 years ago. And when I got into the program, I thought, oh my goodness, it's going to be so diverse. It's going to be so inclusive. It's going to be, but it's a PWI. Yeah. And the program is very small and it's a very hard program to get into. So once you get into the program, they start you off with there's 40 to 50 students, right? And then that gets cut in half. So out of those 40 or 50 students, when I started my freshman year in film school, there were 2 Black people. That was me and one other girl. 2 out of the entire freshman class. So once you cut that in half, one girl gone, that leaves me. I'm now the only Black student in that part of my program, the only Black junior at Wright State University's motion pictures program. And I remember feeling so alone and alienated. And then looking at the upperclassmen who there's only 2 Black students who are just graduated. And that means the class above me, the seniors coming out of the program, there's no Black seniors at all. And the class who just graduated only had 2 Black seniors. And so I felt alienated. I felt isolated. It's hard to work with people who don't understand your culture and don't understand your story and what type of stories you want to tell. There's a lot of microaggressions. Well, why do you want to shoot this way? Why do you want your characters to speak this way? I don't understand your dialogue. Of course you don't understand my dialogue. You don't understand where I come from. You don't understand me.
Right. Yeah.
There was an incident that happened where one of my classmates said something extremely racist to me during class. And the way that the university handled the situation baffled me. I felt like this student should no longer be in the program. I felt like they did not properly, they didn't properly take care of it in a way that made me feel like I belonged in the program.
Validated, seen.
Validated, seen, heard.
Do you mind sharing what was said and how it made you feel?
Oh, absolutely not. I have been quiet about it for the university's purpose, but the student, we were doing like improv on different scenes and different shots that you can have to make a scene look like a certain way. So it's mostly camera shots. So you can come up with whatever dialogue you want it to say. And this one student in particular, he goes, there's a bomb under the table, right? There's this theory in film that everybody says Alfred Hitchcock does perfectly, where the audience knows that there's a bomb under the table, but the two people that are in the scene don't know. So there's this ticking thing that happens. It's a film thing, but this kid goes, there's a bomb under the table and we're at the YMCA. You had to come up with your own setting. And I go, excuse me, first of all, why are we talking about bombs for real? It's an analogy for a scene setup, not an actual thing. And I said, why would you have a bomb at the YMCA? And he goes, because there's a Black Lives Matter rally there. And I said, yeah. I still can't believe this happened. And then my professor goes, okay, let's move on. And I said, no, why would you say something like that? It's not funny. Other students chuckled. He chuckles. He goes, you're right. It makes the YMCA look bad. So he doubled down.
Wow.
Doubled down. Wow.
And everybody stayed in the classroom. And I walked out and I was like, I'm not sitting in here. We're gonna act like I didn't ask him a direct question. And he pointed me out specifically, the only Black student in this room, and looked me in my eyes and told me, because a Black Lives Matter rally is there. That's why I have a bomb at this hypothetical YMCA. It was
like a threat. Yeah,
precisely. So
unnecessary.
And very unnecessary. It had nothing to do with anything. Very stupid. It was super unnecessary, and it made me feel uncomfortable, and I already felt uncomfortable in that space anyway. So of course I raised hell and I'm like, what are you guys gonna do? And they sit down and they have this big meeting with all my classmates and faculty and deans and things like that. And they're like, we're gonna put him through diversity and inclusion training. And I was just like, but I have to stay in a classroom with him when he made me feel uncomfortable. And he said something that was clearly violent. So it's some way that he thinks and he feels really in his inner self, he feels some type of way violently towards a certain group. And he said it outwardly, and they said that was all that they could do. And then they made him openly apologize to me in front of the entire class. And then basically told me, it's best that you just move forward at this point. He'll learn. He's young. You're older. He's only 19. You're 28 at the time. So yeah, that particular situation made me know, it informed me even more that that space was not meant for me. But as a Black woman, I know that I need that degree in order to move forward in the industry. I know that I need my BFA. I know that people are going to look at the fact that I worked my butt off to get in this program, stay in this program, and that I'm serious about what I do. I'm passionate about what I do, and I can withstand anything, even being in a classroom full of people who don't respect me. So with that feeling, I was working at the Neon at the time. I work at the Neon part-time. And I just thought to myself, just because that space doesn't exist at Wright State, it doesn't mean that I can't create that space for myself. Right. Just because I have to sit in a classroom full of white people who don't understand me doesn't mean that I can't create a platform where Black women understand each other, where we can celebrate one another. And it might be 5 of us when it starts, but it can grow into something bigger because this is needed. The other young Black women that are going to go into the Right State program thinking things are butterflies and cotton candy like I did are going to need a community to lean on in order to push them through this program and push them through to help them know that even if the industry doesn't accept us, because the program I'm in is a direct reflection of how the industry actually is. It mirrors it so perfectly. So
wow.
I knew that I had a responsibility to create a space where I understood what it feels like to be isolated. And I thought there would be no better way to celebrate and connect Black women than to be able to screen their films where we can watch them together and then be able to connect with each other afterwards. And so that's where I came up with the idea for the Dayton Black Women's Film Festival. That was a long-winded story. Sorry.
We love it.
That was great. That was great because it gives so much context.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to say I'm sorry that you went through that. And I am just grossly disappointed in how the university essentially gave that young man a slap on the hand.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I just want to say that it still bothers me that when it's Black people who are offended or threatened, it's always, well, they'll learn, they'll do better. But when other communities who have historically been oppressed or traumatized by certain things make a fuss, a lot more action is taken. So super disappointed to hear in the leadership of my alma mater, because I also went to Wright State University. So very disappointing to hear about how they are treating their current students.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're not the only person who is disappointed. Aisha Ford, who was there last night, they all were just baffled by the situation. Selena Burks. But as they told me with their experience, that is not the first time that anything has happened like that at Wright State. But I never heard about it before. But that's because Wright State does what they did with my situation. They sweep it under the rug. So I was baffled by it. Because I thought, oh, no, not here, not where Hannah Beekler graduated from, not where,
Exactly.
Shout out to Hannah Beekler, who has been on the podcast, friend of the pod.
We love her. She's so talented.
So supportive. I will say out of that situation, I was able to connect with her and other graduates of the program who were there to just support me. And that felt really beautiful to be able to experience. And they all say the same thing, which is we have to have thick skin. And I hate it, but we just do have to put on this armor and remind ourselves how talented we are, how gifted we are. And people are going to attack us whether we like it or not. You know what I mean? Not only because of our skin color, but because of our light and what we represent. So that's the mind state that I have to stay in now in order to push through. And I'm like, 2 more years, and then I'm done. I don't have to deal with any of these kids anymore.
Can I also say shout out to you for doing this while being a student? Like, what?
Thank you.
What?
And a mom, right?
And a mom?
Well. Busy, booked and busy.
Wow.
2 jobs, full-time film student, and I am a mother of 3 boys. So, yeah.
We are
incredible. That's incredible. We always have to make lemonade out of lemons, don't we? And the beauty of that story and of your journey is that now you've created this beautiful space that other Black women in the community will be able to have that safety and that sisterhood in. Mm-hmm. So,
and have a point of reference and somewhere to go to be restored.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. So what projects influenced your decision to become a filmmaker?
Okay. So this is always a hard question because I always want to say something so progressive. Like I want to say something that is not as like simple-minded as the film that actually inspired me. I'm not going to call it a simple-minded film. So.
It's not. I was going to say it's not simple-minded.
You don't have to worry about it. My favorite movie of all time is The Bodyguard because I love Whitney Houston. So you don't have to give us a very highbrow, artsy, like whatever you like, we love. You know what I'm saying?
For example, when we did these conversations in the past, I've asked about like guilty pleasures, but I'm like, there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. There are pleasures.
There are pleasures. There are pleasures.
Period. Like.
I think I'm such a huge classic cinema fan. So I love Turner Classic Movies. And I would flip through the channels. And when I was growing up, it was always on channel 64. And I would stop because I'm like, these movies, they relax you. They're so black and white. Yay, this is amazing. But one day I was flipping through the channels and there wasn't black and white on, it was color. It was beautiful, gorgeous Technicolor. And there was Judy Garland standing in this window of this beautiful house with this long strawberry blonde hair. And she was singing this song called The Boy Next Door. And it was a film called Meet Me in St. Louis. And that is my favorite film of all time. Came out in 1944. And that was the film that made me like, oh my gosh, I feel so magical when I look at this. This feels like,
girl, what is simple about that movie? Like, we're talking about the Judy Garland. There's nothing basic about her.
Right. I'm thinking you're going to say, like, The Little Mermaid essence.
I was ready.
In 1992.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's beautiful. Judy Garland, what a talent. What a voice.
Yes.
What a voice. Like, literally, her voice was just like, oh my goodness. If a movie can make a human feel this way, how I felt in that moment, this is what I want to be able to do for other people. Like, this is how I want to express my talent. This is how I want to tell a story.
Yeah. Wait, is this the movie that Jennifer Hudson's character referenced in the Sex and the City 2 movie?
Oh my goodness, yes, it is. It is.
Yes.
And I love that movie too. I love Sex and the City because her name was Louise.
Yes.
And so Meet Me in St. Louis. Yeah, that's the movie that
I did not love that bag. That bag was wrong.
That bag was hideous. And Sarah Jessica Parker, what's her name? Carrie. She knows she was dead wrong. Could have spent more of she's probably spent like maybe $2,000 on that bag. That made me so mad. Oh, it made me so mad. Gave her that little tiny bag, that little pouch.
When she knows she was spending thousands on her shoe collection. But anyway.
Easy.
Hated it. First time you want to introduce a Black woman to the series and she's
to
help her. Mm-hmm.
Facts. Big facts.
Yeah.
All right. So you already kind of gave us quite a bit about the story and origin of the film festival. But now that you've gone through kind of your first year, I'm assuming you're planning on going through with a year 2, right?
Absolutely. So many people yesterday showed up like, where can I get a ticket? Can I please have a ticket? I was so overwhelmed and I was like, I wish I had more tickets to give out, but I didn't. And they were like, is there going to be a second day? Is there going to be an encore screening? And I was like, no, not this time, because with film festivals, when you get like licensing to movies, like you can only screen one night. You only screen what the filmmakers agreed to. So I was very upset though. If I would have known the amount of people that would like come in, I would have made it longer. So I think my goal next year is to make it more than one day. And nice. I think that people will really love that and be able to stay engaged and like, oh, let me gear up for the first day. And what are we experiencing the next day? And I hope to also incorporate some feature lengths because all the films we showed were short films.
You're kind of going through some of the lessons that you want to incorporate. So what other lessons from this first year? And then like, do you have a long-term goal with it you want to hit?
Absolutely. So I think one of the biggest things I learned is to start promoting a lot earlier. I don't think I got really consistent with promotion until like the very end, like the last month. And I hate that I did that because much like you said, you didn't find out about it to the very last minute. Yeah. And that was totally on me, just kind of, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or what it was. I just didn't think people would be super interested. And I thought I would have this small group of people interested. Tickets were selling really slow. And then when I got on the news and got an article published, then all of a sudden tickets, sold out. And so I really wish I would have put more into the press run and everything because there were people who were interested and wanted to come and support. Another thing with it, I definitely wish I had more filmmakers from Dayton. So many people came there specifically to connect with other filmmakers. And although that was able to be done, there were only like a few select filmmakers there to be able to connect with. So I hope next year it's more homegrown, like more connections from Dayton in Dayton, because like one of the main connections, Aisha Ford, she lives in New York. Yes, she's from Dayton, but she lives in New York. And people want resources here that can help them make a film within a certain time frame and things like that. So I definitely would take that into consideration. And moving forward, I hope the longevity of this is in just celebrating Black women and giving them their flowers. So ending the night with the Bloom Award, giving it to Aisha Ford, there's so many women that came to mind, even Hannah Beekler, just to give them the award bring them back to Dayton, celebrate them for their accomplishments. I'm like, Hannah Beachler is the first and only African American to ever win for production design. And they publish like 2 articles about her and don't say anything else. And that's insane to me, So
absolutely.
So I definitely hope that as this continues, we know that it is a celebration specifically for Black women and their hard work. And the Bloom Award becomes synonymous with doing this, as an honorary Oscar does for white men. So.
Love that.
So how long is a short film?
So the criteria for our film festival and our submitters was that a film cannot be longer than 10 minutes. So every film was under 10 minutes specifically for our film festival. Now, within the industry, a short film can be between 30 to 45 minutes, but certain festivals will stop them between 4 and 10 minutes. So that was ours. We had no festival shorter than 4 minutes and none longer than 10 minutes. So that was everybody. And I think that made it a great viewing experience for like it being the first festival, because people were just like so amazed, like and intertwined, like, when's the next one? Oh, it's already over? Or that was so short, because a lot of people aren't used to just seeing short films. They're used to seeing feature lengths. So I think that was a really exciting part about it. People were like, I want more. Is this it? Or is this ending?
Yeah.
They're little bite-sized snippets of all this work, but at least you'll check out the other work that these women have, because you only get to see a small portion of it.
Have you gone to a film festival before? And how was that experience?
Yeah, so I just went to a film festival this year, the TCM Film Festival in LA. So the Turner Classic Movie Film Festival, which was literally a dream come true. Literally all my dreams came true.
I love that.
I was invited by TCM because I reached out to them. I tell everybody, the industry is just a whole bunch of shooting your shot. And that's all that I do. So
Facts.
all I did was shoot a shot at TCM. I reached out to their press and I'm like, I'm a classic cinema lover. I'm a Black woman, and I never see anything representing Black film lovers that are classic cinema lovers. And the person reached back out to me and they were like, you're right. Like, that's so true. There is really no space, nothing specifically for Black people who love classic cinema. You almost feel isolated, like, oh, you're not our audience. We got our audience over here. And so they were like, well, let me know what screenings you want to go to and we'll pay for it. Like, we'll take care of it. And I was like, what? So I was able to go see Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Steven Spielberg there. He introduced the film and did a Q&A.
Wow.
Which was remarkable. TCM let me go through the VIP line, so I got to sit like right next to him, which was incredible. And like people paid thousands of dollars to be at this festival, and I was in there for free. Like, what? All because I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna send this email. And
you said something. Exactly.
I got to see Morgan Freeman for some screening of Shawshank Redemption. That was
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
A perfect film.
It's perfection. Yes.
Perfection. And Tim Robbins was there as well. And that was their first time reuniting in 30 years for because it's been the 30-year anniversary of Shawshank Redemption. I got to see the Jodie Foster. They did a 30th anniversary screening of Silence of the Lamb.
Oh, Silence of the Lamb.
Yeah, did Anthony pop up?
No, he did not. That would have been incredible.
Look at me calling Sir Anthony Hopkins
I was
Anthony.
Gonna say,
like
Sir
we just
Anthony?
Cool. Did Anthony pop up on the scene?
No, I wish he did show up. But yeah, no, they did a Q&A with her. And then I got to see Mel Brooks, which was mind-blowing. He did a screening of Spaceballs. And I was just in awe of this 98-year-old man, quick-witted and just so impeccable with his words. Like, it was amazing and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And so, yeah, and I got to do it for free. So it was absolutely insane. God showed me so much favor in that situation. And yeah, I felt complete. I was like, after I did that, I was like, man, I don't care how my festival goes. Like, but yeah, no, it was a really great experience. And I was able to make some really great connections. So appreciative to TCM. Gladys Santos is the one who got me there for free. So appreciative of her.
That's nice.
Amazing.
You should definitely connect with the American Black Film Festival folks. ABFF is in Miami every
Okay.
year. I think it's coming up in June, I think it is. I volunteered and worked it last year. I don't know if you're going to get free tickets. Talk to the Fridays about that, but it's definitely great, especially within the Black community, to see a lot of the
Okay.
projects, because like they cloned Tyrone premiered there last year, like The Color Purple. It was just
Okay.
a lot of really, and like talk back panels with a lot of cast members or different shows like All American, stuff like that. So it was just, and theirs is, how many days was it? 3 days? 3 days, I
Okay.
think.
I
So it
definitely
would definitely be great to connect with those folks.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I definitely need to reach out to them. Like I said, I'm not scared to reach out to anybody. And the worst you can hear is a no or never. So
Big facts.
yeah,
So
Jim
true.
guys.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, who's on your Mount Rushmore of film directors or filmmakers? And is there a difference between the two? Because, like, I wasn't sure.
For me, as a person who loves directing and writing, is all under the brow or the under the hat that is a filmmaker. So directing, I direct, write, and produce all my own films. So I would just consider myself a filmmaker. But on my filmmaker, so I would consider the same thing. Spike Lee, because he directs, writes, and produces his films. Spike Lee is definitely on my Mount Rushmore. Crooklyn is one. It's a brilliant film to me. You can watch it over and over again. So relatable. Another person, I know it's so cliche to say, but Steven Spielberg. I feel like I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, and I most of the films that I make are Afrofuturism or genre is sci-fi. So that's the love of my genre that I love the most is sci-fi. And then I would definitely like to say Ava. I know it's also cliche to say Ava DuVernay too, but
These are
I
not cliches, these are
None
classics.
of it. I was like, Steven Spielberg, he made freaking Color Purple. He
did
handled that film with so much care, like respect,
so
okay?
much care.
When
But
I
yeah,
think of a director, it was always Steven Spielberg, because I think growing up, he just made all of the films that I thought were big time, big
yes,
budget films.
he created the blockbuster. He did. He created
Yeah.
the blockbuster. And I think he is a phenomenal writer. I think he has an eye that nobody else has for just little quirky things. I recently just shot a film called Zohali about a Black woman who dates white men and sacrifices them to her African ancestors. And
Okay.
and there
I
is
love the creativity there.
it is very taboo, but I did a specific scene where I don't know if you guys ever seen Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was with Harrison up until I think probably the last one. I don't think I saw
Literally,
the
the
last
Shia
one.
one was really bad, but I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It was terrible. It was
awful.
so bad. It was
I'm
awful.
like, aliens? Okay.
It just didn't. They messed it up. Which was a perfect franchise with those three films. They just I don't know why they did that one. But yeah, so there's a scene at the end where they look upon the Ark of the Covenant, of course, and the guy's head melts, right? So I did the same exact thing for my films on Holly, where she melted this white man's head. And I used the same type of shot recreation that like Spielberg did. Of course, not as fancy. I don't have money like that. But I hand sculpted a head and made like the head from scratch, just around like a skull, and then melted it with a heating gun. So that's how much like I'm obsessed with Spielberg and like the little stuff that he does. Like I just want to be able to achieve just some of the little things that he's been able to do as a filmmaker because he's brilliant. So yeah, he's definitely
Girl, I
on.
hope you got his email when you sat next to him.
Oh, I didn't get nothing. When I tell you they security guards be on tens and twos in Hollywood, that's the only thing I was like, do I want to risk it all and just like run up and look stupid? You know, do I want to risk it all? Or do I want to wait on the Lord to just,
Hear
deliver
my
me
call, Jesus. Hear my call.
and deliver me to a space where I can be in the same room as him again, and he will want to meet me. So that's what I,
Oh,
yeah,
two snaps. Two
yeah.
snaps on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't want to look crazy. There's so many moments when I wanted to risk it all, but I didn't. So yeah.
Anybody else? We
Yes.
got three.
So Aisha Ford, and I say this, I know I just gave her the award last night, but I always wanted to be a filmmaker and I always wanted to make movies, but I never thought I could do it. because I thought you had to be cut from a different cloth. And I thought I had to have come from a different background to be able to make films and really pursue my passions. And by the time that I met Aisha a decade ago, I was married. I was a mom. I thought, oh, this is my life now. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to be a good wife. I'm going to shut my mouth and keep it pushing and let my man pay the bills. And I went to a meeting and somebody said, there's a filmmaker here and her name's Aisha. And I'm like, what? There's a filmmaker here and she's a woman. And so I said, I got to go introduce myself. And I went up to Aisha and I was like, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. I've always wanted to like meet a Black woman who makes films. I'm just honored to meet you. And she said, you want to make a movie? Do you have a script? And I said, well, I mean, yeah, I done wrote some stuff, but I can't make a movie. And she was like, yes, you can. And so she asked me to send her my script. I sent her my script. She immediately sent it back with like critiques, broke it down. This is this or this is that. And I was just like, I love this. She said, well, let's make a movie. And I said, stop playing. She was a film student at the time at Wright State. And she took time out of her own schedule, it's a rough schedule to be making movies and be in that program full time. And she brought Cameron Davis, who I think is one of the greatest cinematographers ever, who's also from Dayton, and he does cinematography for most of her films. She brought him on board. He agreed to shoot the film. She agreed to assistant direct the film. So my very first film, You Changed Me, my assistant director is Aisha Ford, award-winning Aisha Ford. And she didn't have to do that, but I thought, oh my goodness, I can do anything. And she set me on this path that I'm on right now. So as I've watched her grow, as I've watched her direct, because I've been on her set just as a PA, like whatever she needs, you need food, you need me to sweep the floor, whatever you need, I'll get it. She is one of a kind. I've never seen anybody connect with her actors the way that she does, tell stories of young Black women the way that she does. She only does films about young Black girls. And it comes from such a space of like innocence and this pure, authentic understanding of how separate our experience is from other kids who don't look like us. Only we would understand it. And she stayed true to that. She doesn't try to conform to how white people think she should make films and how she thinks the audience will view her work. She makes exactly the movies that she wants to make. And I think she's going to go down in history as probably one of the greatest directors of all time, in my personal opinion. If you ever get a chance to watch any of her movies, we screened 3 of them last night at the film festival. She's phenomenal and has a phenomenal eye. It's candy to the eye. Like she's amazing. And I am blessed to have her as a mentor and as somebody who believes in my career and takes the time out still to this day, as busy as she is. She was just selected for Cannes Film Festival diversity screenings, which is a huge deal. And that film that was selected was produced by Spike Lee. So with all the stuff that she does, she still takes the time out to read my little dinky scripts and, tell me what is good or what's not or what's this. And I'm so appreciative of her. And I think she really can change the world with the way that she views Black women and young Black girls. So yeah, she's definitely she's on my Mount Rushmore for sure.
Love that. You definitely put me on to her talking about her. So now I have to check out her projects.
Absolutely. Yes, and they're not dinky. They're just unpolished like diamonds.
Yeah. That's a good way to say it. Yes, yes.
All right. So what impact do you hope to have on the broader film community and industry with the work that you're doing and the work that you will continue to do?
I used to get really frustrated waiting for the Oscar nominations to come out, waiting to see a Black person win Best Director. 96 years of the Oscars, right? 96 years, 100 years, and celebrating filmmakers. And we have not been rightfully celebrated on that stage. In all of 96 years, not a single Black director. And we got Barry Jenkins, who made Moonlight, which is probably the most...
Exactly.
Like,
gorgeous.
Still thinking about it. We have Spike Lee. We have Ava DuVernay. We have the people. We have the work. It's there. The evidence is there. But they're not willing to, nor do they see the work the way that we see our work. Right. They don't get chills when they see our artwork. Only we do, because only we understand it. So it is impossible to have platforms like that that has board members that are 90% white, right?
Yep.
Think that we will ever be celebrated in the way that we should be celebrated and get those awards. As important as those awards are to that industry, we have, and it has been time for us to just create those moments and those platforms for ourselves. So I hope and pray that this film festival allows us, like the American Black Film Festival and Black Star and things like that, to just continue to only focus it on being accepted and celebrated by our own community. Because it took me a long time to let go of the fact. When I was a little girl, I used to say, I want to be the first Black woman to win Best Director at the Oscars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got older and I thought, oh, that's impossible. As things grow, there's going to be a Black woman honored. At least a Black man will, Jordan Peele may get out. At least they're going to give a Black man a Best Director award. And then time went on, and here we are, 2024, and it's never even happened for a Black man, let alone a Black woman. So I think in accepting that an industry that I'm so in love with doesn't see me, and taking it and turning my lemons into lemonade, and seeing that we can see ourselves and celebrate ourselves and make it just as special and just as important as they think an Oscar is, right? So I hope that allows us. I hope that this allows us to continue to just create our own platforms. I just want us to create our own platforms. I just want us to be able to celebrate each other in the most authentic way that we can. And yeah, that's my main goal.
Totally behind you on that one, and have faith that you can be one of the founders of that next great space that will give us our flowers like you did with the Bloom Award. I love it. Not just the Oscars. Really we've come down on the Grammys. We've come down on a lot of the extreme, big examples that people usually hold up of what success looks like in these entertainment industries. So
the curtain has been pulled. We have seen Oz. What are your favorite depictions of Black women in media?
Ooh. Okay, I love this because I love sci-fi, right? So
yes, we love a good sci-fi moment too.
No, I love seeing Black women so powerful, indestructible. We can withstand, survive, do anything, because that's real life. We really can. Mm-hmm. And Michonne in The Walking Dead. I don't know.
Hold up.
Love Michonne.
So the audience listening can't see what Delora is holding. Delora, what are you holding?
I am holding a little, what do they call it? Pop?
Yes, it's a pop figure.
A pop figure of Michonne with her bloody machete.
Yes.
And her locks. Mm-hmm. She is just badass, Walking Dead, for those who may not know.
Yes. I love Michonne. I love the way that she is portrayed in her very mothering way. Just her nature is to protect and to keep people safe. And that is a real depiction to me of what
she's very pragmatic, right? Like she's not overly emotional. Like she is calculated and she is lethal.
Yes, very much so. And that to me, I relate to more than like some of the portrayals I've seen Tyler Perry do of Black women.
Girl.
I won't go down that rabbit hole though. But
you don't have to. He has his own space. Everybody has their own niche.
Everybody has their own space. So, but yes, Michonne is one for sure. There was this film called Alien versus Predator that I watched where they had, this is the first time I ever seen a Black woman make it all the way to the end of a sci-fi thriller film. Sanaa Lathan was the lead in that film, and she became friends with the Predator. Sorry if anybody hasn't seen this, but that was magical to see. Like
the fact that she was the star in that movie was always, it's so mind-blowing to me. I'm like, oh, this is Sis's movie. She's not just one of a team of scientists or whatever. Exactly. Like it was a lot of her and dude with the locks, you know.
Yes. Dude with the locks, yes. Yeah, the Predator. That was her friend, okay? So, any depiction like that, I think is so realistic. I just seen Planet of the Apes, the new one, The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Such a good movie.
The new one.
The new one.
In theaters now.
And I'm such a huge fan of the Planet of the Apes. Like I think that's probably one of my favorite films from the 60s is the original Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston.
I always quote the part where he says, "Can I have a kiss?" And she's like, "All right, you're just so damn ugly."
that, that is that, that is a classic. It was funny the way you said it. But yes, no, I love that movie. But I was thinking about the fact though, in Planet of the Apes, there's never any black women or like leads or anything in there. And I was watching this most recent one, and there's a particular character in there. Her name is Nova. They call her Nova, which is an ode to the original film. But they call her Nova, and you guys haven't seen it yet, so I won't give much away. But she is supposed to be smart, right? And she survived through all this. This 200 years since the human race has been attacked by this disease that have made apes stronger, then weaker, and then mute. So yeah,
They were mute. Damn.
yeah. They made the humans, the disease rendered them basically to animals. And so this particular character, she rubbed me the wrong way. And I just thought, y'all really think she would? Why is it always the white people that you guys think will survive in the dystopian futures? Where are all the black people at? You really think everything that black people have been through in this here world, and we wouldn't be the last ones surviving, walking behind some apes, ready to fight or whatever the case may be? Stop playing. And of course, she was a quintessential blonde hair, blue eyes. And I'm just like, they really do not see us surviving. We're not like top tier human instinct anything to them, and that really does bother me to the depths of my soul. And that's why when I see people like Michonne and the character that Sanaa Lathan played in the Alien versus Predator, it's so important for us to see, because they don't think we can survive, even though they've seen us survive so much.
And not even them, it's always upsetting. Me and Delora talk about this all the time. The uproar that comes when you see Black people in sci-fi and fantasy and all these various roles. Delora we were talking about Wicked trailer, and anybody having anything to say about Cynthia being Elphaba, like the character is green, and it's just like we belong in all these. We belong in Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, all the things.
Percy Jackson,
exactly. All the things.
Yes, we absolutely do. I agree. And it's just, I don't know, it's hard for them to see us outside of the narrow space that they've put us in. So again, that's another thing where we just have to create the spaces. And that's why I love Afrofuturism. And I love creating sci-fi, because we can be in those spaces and we can tell those stories.
What's your favorite movie and why?
Oh, that is such a hard question. Okay.
Well, you mentioned one of them earlier, the Judy Garland pick.
Yeah. Meet Me in St. Louis. You know what? Meet Me in St. Louis is my favorite film. That is my favorite film. They're celebrating 80 years this year.
Oh, wow.
And because it came out in 1944, I was born in 1994. So we're exactly 50 years apart. I'll be turning 30 this year. And I love the movie so much that I want like my whole 30th birthday to be Meet Me in St. Louis themed.
Nice.
I want to read the film.
Yeah, I love that.
The whole movie is about like the World Affair in St. Louis. So I'm like, I want to do fair themed. I want to watch the movie. I want to dress like Judy Garland. So yes, I would definitely say Meet Me in St. Louis is my favorite film of all time. Because
when's your birthday, girl? I feel like we gonna have to get an invite to this party.
Yeah. October 13th, and it's on a Saturday this year. So I feel like that's a perfect time. 13, turning 30 on a Saturday. It's big party time. So yeah.
So you're Sagittarius?
No, Libra.
Oh, you're Libra.
Yeah.
Surrounded by y'all in my life. Surrounded. I love me a Libra.
Same. I have a ton of Libras.
Taurus. Love y'all.
Yes, I love a good Taurus too. Libra, Taurus, all of it. Yeah.
So what projects are you working on currently, and what are some of your future creative goals?
Currently, I am working on a film called Black No More, which is going to be my junior thesis. And it's a film about America 10 years post-race war. And it is dystopian. It is sci-fi, in my opinion, and it is a thriller. So I'm very excited to work on that. I think it's a good story about humanity inside of war. Like when things happen and it all falls apart, somehow we as people of color maintain this humanity in how we see each other and how we connect with one another. Outside of that, I know people might think it's crazy, but this next festival is a year away. And I'm already starting to just work on things, apply for grants, make sure that it has a lot more force behind it, because there are more people interested in helping and making sure that it is a success now that they know what it is about. So that's my big plan, is to continue to make films and continue to support Black women in any endeavor of filmmaking that they're trying to pursue. And then to make sure that next year's festival is even bigger than this year's festival. And to continue to advocate for Black women in the current program that I'm in, and Black students in general at Wright State University, because they have to change the culture there. As soon as you walk in the door, it says, here we're diverse and inclusive, and this is the space to be if you want to be accepted. That's not the bar for bar, but it says that as soon as you walk in, it says diversity, and it's nowhere to be found. So right. That's why I'm staying in this program. That's why I'm sticking it out. I want my degree, and I want to see some change before I leave. I want Black students to feel like they belong. Like I want to pursue my dreams, and I want to feel comfortable. Like we shouldn't have to feel uncomfortable when we walk in that classroom.
Love that. And super excited to see what the 2025 festival looks like.
Yes. We'll be there.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Yes. You guys have free tickets already. So
thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
For real.
Well, I'll buy a ticket for somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll talk sponsorship. That'd be fun.
Of course.
That would be amazing. Yes. I love it. I love the name of you guys' podcast. I love just this in general. You guys definitely have a new fan and a listener. I'm a podcast. All the way.
Thank you.
So inspiring to me. So I love this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. What are your sources of inspiration for your art?
Sources of inspiration.
Other artists, nature, your family.
I was going to say my babies, my children, my boys. They inspire me every day to just create a world where they see themselves and they feel seen, and every time I make a film, my oldest son, he was just in a film that I did called Alienation about little Black kids discovering that they're aliens. And he got to be an alien and have on all this silver, like gorgeous paint and things like that. And that just changed his whole view and perception of how Black kids can be seen on screen and how he can see himself in a fantasy film, or he can be absolutely anything he wants to be. So my children, my boys are a huge inspiration to me. My mentors, the women who pour back into me, who are still pursuing their film career and their dreams, huge inspiration to me. I would say right now I'm super into Korean films, like Korean thrillers. So every time
I'm banging,
I was about to say there's some really great just Asian centered art in general, to me, in film and television.
It's pretty high profile. We did past lives, but still go on Netflix.
2023, literally.
Wasn't it gorgeous? It was
absolutely. Yes. Celine Song, she is, I was so mad it didn't get more recognition. I just thought it was a perfect movie. So yeah, Past Lives is really good. Anything Korean. Park Chan-wook blows my mind all the time. I think he's amazing. So Bong Joon-ho, Korean director.
We also recapped Squid Games, which obviously was hella popular. But...
So they just look at life differently than we do. I feel like sometimes Americans render themselves of good art because they don't like to watch foreign cinema and things like that. But man,
don't want to read
because they don't want to read the subtitles. But I'm reading subtitles for English films already,
exactly.
So might as well.
Subtitles. I love to have them on.
I keep them on. Yeah, I keep them on. I love a good British moment, and sometimes that accent when they talk real low, I'm like, I can't hear a dang on thing.
Yes.
So
I need.
And then that's what it was. I was watching The Crown, and I was like, let me put these subtitles on. They've been on ever since.
I love The Crown, but sometimes I do watch a British show or I'm watching it and I'm like, what the heck are they saying? I need
See, y'all are better than me. They're American. I'd be like, let me run that back. Like, that's why I have my subtitles on, because I'm just like, maybe I just, people were just trying to do too much at one time. And so I'm just like, I didn't catch every word. Let me go ahead and just read every now and then. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I need my subtitles. So yeah, those are the spaces I draw inspiration from. Any type of cinema films that incorporate stories that are unique is where I hone in at. Oh, and I know you guys know who Octavia Butler is. I don't mean to switch it away from cinema to literature, but I have a deep love for literature. My first degree is a literature degree, and I love Octavia Butler and Afrofuturism. She's the queen of sci-fi. Okay.
She is.
She is a huge inspiration to me. You could pick up Kindred, Parable of the Sower, and just fool, because she created a world where we could see ourselves outside of this one. So I just
Did you watch the Kindred show? Because I started it because I loved the book in high school, and I was like, this is hard to watch for me.
I couldn't make it through. Well, you know, in the book, it opens up with us knowing that like she loses her arm and it's detailed. But the show, it was just like seeing the violence against her was a lot harder than just being able to read it in a book and be able to skip the page instead of just seeing it right there on the screen. It was a little traumatizing. So I think I made it to like episode 3 and was like, I can't do it no more. I can do it.
Yeah, it felt so jarring. It felt so jarring to watch, but I agree with you. Reading the book, I was sucked in. Like, I think we had to do like a summer reading list, and that was my favorite over like the 4 years of high school. So definitely agree on that one.
The book is quite different. You just be like, you don't know what, even though you read the book, it's still like every time she popped up back there, oh, the white folks gonna find her and they go, you know, it just was hard.
Yeah.
But the book I definitely appreciate.
What's your superpower?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think my superpower is empathy. I think that the way that I'm able to connect with other people and feel other people and see other people and how other people feel really means something to me. Like if I'm in a space and I see somebody who's uncomfortable, I want to make them feel comfortable. I don't like anybody feeling out of place or like they don't belong. So I think empathy is my superpower because it makes me passionate enough to want to change how things are. It makes me want to advocate. It makes me want to make a difference because I want to make people feel whole, like full. So empathy.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Final question. You've already given some gems. What advice do you have for those hoping to follow your path?
Shoot your shot. That is the biggest thing that I've learned in the past year. Shoot your shot. Don't be afraid. People love passionate people. People who are really passionate love really passionate people. And that is something that I will take with me for the rest of my life. If somebody is supposed to help you on your journey, know that that is the person that is supposed to help you on your journey. And when you reach out to them, know that they're going to direct you in that right path. And it doesn't happen unless you're bold enough to say, hey, my name is so-and-so. I really love what you do. I recently was invited to Dave Chappelle did some like screenings, private screenings of certain films. He did The Book of Clarence with James Seymour, who directed The Harder They Fall. And then he did a private screening of Ava DuVernay's Origin. And I do PR work for a company called Scripted in Black. And they
shout out to Dana.
Shout out to Dana. Yes, that's my boss. And so they invited Dana out to one of the screenings. She couldn't make it. So I went in her place to the Book of Clarence screening. And I ended up getting the number, I think, of like, I think she's Dave Chappelle's event manager. And I was like, okay, this was a nice night. I headed out. And then I found out that they were doing the Origin screening the next day. And Ava DuVernay was going to be there. And I said, I have to get into the screening. Completely sold out. Everybody wanted to get into this screening. There was no way I was going to get in. And something in my spirit was like, reach out to that number that you have and tell them how much you want to be there. And that's exactly what I did. And they got me in there, no cost, no nothing. And that is a testament. This whole past year of my life has been me shooting my shot and being like, you know what? You swallow that little warm feeling you feel in your belly that's like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And just whatever, wash it down with a little bit of hope and some dreams and send that text, send that email. Next thing you know, you're in a completely different space in life. And that's how I've been able to experience the things I've been able to experience.
And to be clear, these screenings were in Yellow Springs, Ohio that
They
he
were.
had. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at his new club, the Firehouse thing. And oh my goodness, like they take your phone, they take everything from you. But yeah, I hope he continues to do that. I thought it was really beautiful that he was able to use his connections to be able to allow people to see those very important films, which The Book of Clarence, I think, is a beautiful movie. And then Origin is mind blowing. Like, just was in a room full of Black people sobbing, like at the Yellow Springs when he premiered it at Yellow Springs. Just it's a film that needs to be seen, and that there's a reason that they silenced and try to snuff it out. It had a short run through, the
Yeah.
theater run and things like that. So
Yep.
yeah. Yep.
I thought part of it was also the fact that she essentially crowdsourced the funding, right? It wasn't through
Yeah.
traditional means. And so they were like, I know this is excellent, but we don't want to support this, you know?
Yep. True. It was also that she really had to actually get it out the mud. Nobody wanted to make that movie with her or help her produce it. So she did it by herself, and it did play a huge part.
Well, thank you so much, Ange, for being with us, for sharing with
Thank you, thank you,
us.
thank you.
I appreciate all the hard work that you're doing. We're so excited again to join you for next year's film festival. But in the meantime, are there any final thoughts you have? Let people know where they can connect and find you, all the good things.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me. This has been wonderful. A little bit like therapy too. You guys have no idea how good it is to sit and speak with Black women and like-minded women, and it makes my heart full. But yeah, you can follow me at Ange Directs. It's just Ange Directs, ANGEDIRECTS, on Instagram, and Angelina Mitchell on Facebook or anywhere. And then, of course, Dayton Black Women's Film Festival, to look out for any updates, will be at DBWFF.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for listening. As always, we'll be back for more. Please share this episode with everybody you know. We appreciate it. We'll be back. But in the meantime, as always, be blessed.
Bye.